everyone, and welcome to this Product Inspiration series. I am François, Vice President Software Partner Strategy in the SAP Industries and Customer Experience Product Success team. And today, I am thrilled to talk to Mike from Contentful. Hi Mike, thanks a lot for joining. Contentful is a Sapphire venture, so the SAP team is very excited about the collaboration. The Contentful composable content platform is integrated with SAP Commerce Cloud and is exploring a partnership with SAP MRC's customer engagement. To kick things off, Mike, could you tell us what motivated Contentful to invest in a partnership with SAP?
Hi, Francois. Thanks for having me. The partnership with SAP is truly strategic for us. We recognize customers today expect personalized interactions across all channels, and that's where Contentful can help deliver. Our partnership brings together SAP's enterprise-grade commerce capabilities with Contentful's composable content platform to enable lightning-fast commerce experiences. Together, we're enabling organizations to transition to a modern composable content approach that maximizes their investment in SAP Commerce Cloud. By integrating our composable content platform with SAP Commerce Cloud and MRC's, we're helping businesses deliver consistent and targeted customer experiences on different touchpoints while significantly accelerating their time to market.
Fantastic. That's very compelling, Mike. Can you share some customer stories that highlight the practical applications of the Contentful platform in combination with SAP Customer Experience solutions? What specific benefits do customers gain from using the Contentful composable content platform?
Absolutely. What's exciting is how our joint solution is transforming the way businesses operate. By combining SAP Commerce Cloud and Contentful, our customers are achieving three key benefits. First, they're reducing their reliance on IT teams. Marketing and merchandising teams can now make content changes in minutes rather than days. Second, they're delivering lightning-fast commerce experiences through SAP Composable Storefront and our composable content platform, which is directly increasing conversion rates. And third, they're maximizing their SAP Commerce Cloud investment by building rich, integrated customer experiences without requiring a costly replatform. For example, one of our joint retail customers integrated Contentful with SAP Commerce Cloud to power content across their brand websites to create and implement continuously refreshed content while freeing their engineering teams to focus on higher value initiatives.
That's fascinating and certainly exciting for our customers. Looking forward, how do you envision the role of AI in transforming customer experience, particularly with the rise of generative AI? And how can businesses ensure that this advanced technology translates into substantial business value?
Sure. Generative AI is revolutionizing how we think about content operations and customer experience. At Contentful, our customers can leverage AI to dramatically streamline content creation and optimization. They're using AI to generate first drafts, localize content for different markets, generate images, and personalize messaging at scale. But what's really exciting is how this frees up creative teams to focus on high-value strategic work rather than repetitive tasks. It also helps to inspire creativity when stuck with writer's block by suggesting new content angles and fresh perspectives. Marketers can also leverage Ninetailed by Contentful for AI-powered personalization to automatically A/B test different audiences and deliver highly targeted experiences based on the collected data. This practical approach to AI implementation ensures businesses achieve substantial value by focusing on measurable outcomes, increased efficiency, enhanced content quality, and improved customer engagement through data-driven personalization.
These advantages are incredibly promising. It's clear that SAP CX customers have a fantastic opportunity to elevate their customer experiences and achieve substantial business results with this solution. Now, let's take it a step further and explore an integrated product demo from our partners at Contentful. Thanks for being with us, Mike.
I'm now going to take you through a quick demo of how Contentful is using generative AI to help improve the editor experience. I'm currently looking at the dashboard for a B2B buyer in the PowerTools B2B self-service customer portal demo environment. This is a demo environment that Contentful has created to showcase Contentful Studio, which is our WYSIWYG drag and drop editor UI for building experiences, and also to showcase integration with SAP and the various platforms utilized in a B2B self-service portal, looking at things such as quotes coming from CPQ from Sales Cloud, tickets coming from Service Cloud, product information coming perhaps from Commerce Cloud, latest order coming from S/4HANA. Being able to bring all of these elements together into a single unified UI or interface for these B2B customers to modernize their experience. Now within here, I have a bit of a knowledge base or a collection of articles that provide information to my customers. If I am working at PowerTools, I have these that I provide to help educate my customers on how they could and should be using the products that they purchase from PowerTools. For this scenario, I've been tasked with creating a new blog post that is focused around the usage of PowerTools or PowerTools products in this case in wet conditions. We want to make sure that all of our buyers, our customers, are aware of why they should not be using PowerTools in wet conditions. So I've been asked to generate a blog post on this, and this is based on data that I received that we have an FAQ about using PowerTools in wet conditions, but that we want to provide more information, something a little more rich and engaging than just the FAQ. So with that, what I'll need to do is hop over into my Contentful environment and start building out my blog post. So here I am at the dashboard of my space, my B2B demo space. This is essentially the collection of my content model, my content, everything that is being used to generate that PowerTools experience that we were just looking at. Normally, if I was going to create a blog post, the first thing I would do is hop over to my content section. I'm already looking at all of my articles. So if I choose to add an entry, I'm going to get a suggestion of adding a new article, which is fine. That's what I want to do. That's great. But I'm in a situation where I want to be able to leverage AI to build this for me. I don't want to have to write all of this myself. And the fact that I've got translations required, I have a German variation that I need to provide. I don't want to have to spend time either trying to translate that myself or sending it out to a third party, anything like that. I would like to be able to utilize AI to also help me create those translations. Now, if I look at the AI and automation section, this is a new feature that Contentful has released. AI actions, if I hop over to those, AI actions are a set of templates, AI templates that you can use to plug into LLMs to have LLMs help create content, modify content, etc. for you. If I look under the different actions that are available, I've got things such as translate, so I can translate content. I've got an option down below for localizing content as well. I can do things such as just for productivity, rewriting, fixing spelling and grammar, things of that nature. I can have AI generate more long-form type content for me, such as a list of Q&As, a blog post, or a how-to guide. I can have it work with my products and do things such as generate a product summary or generate a product description, classify product categories. I can also have it generate an email campaign for me. So lots of different features or capabilities that we're providing out here. We are looking to continue to expand this selection as well. This is an introductory set. As you can see down here, any customers using this, partners or customers, we are open to suggestions. We're looking for feedback on these templates and any input on what templates people would like to see. I close this. I can look and see that just starting off, I've got the generate alt text action installed, and I've got the translate action installed. In order to have AI generate my blog post for me, I'm going to go in and I'm going to add the generate blog post from existing content action. When I click on that, I can see that it already comes with a set of instructions telling the LLM what we're looking for. We're expecting the LLM to act as an experienced content writer. We're going to provide it some content to use as that prompt or that reference. We wanted to then expand upon what we provide in that prompt. We give it requirements. It's going to be used to generate a blog post that supports the topic, a length, some parameters around the structure, etc. And then finally, just identify what is the output we're expecting. If I look at the configuration for this, I can see the LLM model that I am using Claude Sonnet for this. We also have support for GPT-4o and 4o Mini. And then I also have the ability to set the temperature or the level of creativity that I want the AI to use when generating my content. Now, right now it's set to low. That's the default setting. But perhaps I want this to be much more creative. I want it to do more storytelling with this rather than just providing a bulleted list of information. I'm going to set that to high and see what I get out of that. With those changes, I will publish this. I go back. I now see that I've got my generate blog post from existing content. Now, I know that in my article content item, let's go back and look at the entry. If I look at this, I'm going to need a title. I'm also going to need an image and a teaser and my body, essentially my blog post. I'll have AI generate my blog post. That will give me a title as well, which I can copy out of the blog post and put up in the title field. But it's not going to give me a teaser to put on, let's say, a call to action card on my homepage or anything like that, where I want to promote this article to visitors and have something that is just going to be kind of like a little teaser or tagline that's going to capture their attention. So what I want to do for that is I want to actually create my own AI rule, basically start with an empty rule and build my own. So I'll come back to my AI actions, choose add action. I'm going to start with empty. Now, I've already generated all of the instructions for this. We can see here, I've created my instructions. I've pasted them over into just text edit here. I'm going to copy that and go back to the Contentful UI. Okay, back here in the Contentful UI, I'm going to paste those instructions that I just copied. We can see we're expecting it to be an expert in summarizing content, ensuring clarity. Again, we've given it some additional requirements or some additional instruction. We want the core message and key details to be retained. We want it to be clear, well-structured, and concise. What we're missing at this point, though, is we're telling it we want it to use reference content, but we haven't actually bound that to a variable. So I'm going to delete that reference content. I'm going to come down here, and I have an option for content. When I choose content, that's going to choose a specific field. That will only be applied to the field at which I choose to invoke this action. What I want to do is instead create a new variable that I'm going to call reference content, and it's going to be based on an entry. We give the options for text. You can specify text to use the prompt, multiple choice, so you can give options and allow users to choose from those options to generate. Could be based on locale, could be based on media, and this is what we see in the generate alt text for an image, where we pass media as the element prompting the LLM, or again, an entry. So in this case, we're providing an entire entry from Contentful, and we'll have the ability to select either to use all the content in the entry or to use just a single field out of that entry as the information of the prompt again for my LLM. I'm going to choose entry here, go back to editing, and we see now my variable is defined, is showing up here, and I'm going to publish that. Oh, and let's go back and give it a good name. Generate teaser for blog post. And let's republish it now that we have a good name for it. And we can see there's my generate teaser for blog post. So I now have my AI action for generating my blog post, generate a teaser, and translate the content for that blog post. And I have also down here, generate alt text. I am going to include an image in my blog post. So I want to be able to generate alt text for that. For my image, I also have the ability to take advantage of AI extensions or applications that are not part of the core Contentful platform, but are available either created by Contentful or by partners or by customers and available in the Contentful marketplace. So I come up and look at my apps. I can start off looking at my installed apps, and you can see here that I got AI image generator powered by OpenAI. I have that installed in my environment already. If I come and look at in the marketplace, we can see there are a number of other AI related apps or plugins that can be used alongside others within Contentful. So these can be used to help, again, generate images, generate text, to help improve text, translate text, clean up text, etc. These are all available, freely available within the marketplace for customers to use. So I've got my my AI image generator from OpenAI available. I've got in my AI actions, I've got my blog post, teaser, translation, and alt text. Let's go back to my content now. So come back to my untitled content that I started with. Okay, at this point, I'm going to scroll down to my body because this is where I want to have the body of this blog post created. I will click on my AI action icon here, and I will see as soon as I open that up, I've got a drop-down menu showing me the different options for the different actions that I can execute for this space. Again, this is where I want to generate my blog post from existing content. At this point now, I'm prompted. So this is where using that reference content variable comes into play, because the system is going to ask me, what are we using as a reference for this? I can either select from the current entry, meaning from this content item I'm working in, or I could search for another entry in the system. In this case, as I mentioned before, I want to do this based on an FAQ that we've seen a lot of traffic on. Right here, can power tools be used in wet conditions? So I'm going to use that. I have the option of using the entire entry or selecting a specific field. Because this is an FAQ and I want my blog post to reference or to be based on that FAQ, I want to include both the question field and the answer field. So I'm just going to choose use entire entry. As soon as I click that, my AI action will kick off. So now my LLM is taking into consideration what was in that FAQ, what is the question, what was the answer. It's also considering what was the level of creativity that I provided. It's looking at all those other rules, 500 and 800 words to generate this. So as it crunches through that, it will process and it will come back for me with my blog post. And there we go. We now have a blog post. As I said before, it's got a title already in here. So I can take that title and we will cut that from there. And I'm going to get rid of that line. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to put that title right up here. Great. So I've got my blog post and I've got a title. Let's talk about an image. I'm going to go and say add media. Again, I could choose to do new media and have OpenAI generate that image for me. I've already done that to save time, because if you've worked with AI image generation, you don't always get what you expect on the first try. There's a lot of tuning and tweaking that goes on to get to something that you feel is going to encompass or match what you're looking for. I've already done that. I've got here an image that I previously created with OpenAI. You can see here, it's a picture of a man working on framing a house, and we can tell skies are kind of stormy. Look at that a little closer. Now this, we actually already have some alt text on here. I'm going to get rid of that. Let's just say, for example, we did not have that. So I'm now going to come in here and use my generate alt text action on this to see what this comes up with. Again, this is taking into consideration now the media that has been provided. This is working directly off of this content item. We don't have to pass it a reference or a prompt. It knows to use this. And we can see that it generates my description for me. Construction worker in hard hat, using power drill and wood frame during rainfall and standing on scaffolding. I'm not really worried about the standing on scaffolding. I'm going to trim that out. That's not as relevant for what I'm trying to represent with this image. But I now have my alt text generated for this. And while I'm at the image, let's go ahead and translate that description, because I want the alt text to be translated for my different visitors. If I have somebody viewing this blog post or looking at this from, looking through the German version of the site, I want them to see the alt text in German. I'm going to click on my English description. So I click on my English because that is what I'm using as the prompt. That is the content that I want the system to use in order to create the translation. I need to give it something, I need to give it a starting point. When I choose translate here, it will now prompt me and ask me which locales I want to use. By choosing one or more locales, what the system will do is it will look for the corresponding localized version of this field. So when I choose Germany, it's going to know that it should put that translated content into my German description. Click on that, and we can see it starts right up and starts running to create that translation and place it in there. With that, we are done. I'm going to go ahead and publish my changes for that. So now I've got my image, and my image has my English and German translations for the alt text. I still haven't done my title in German, but I also still need to do my teaser. So I want to go ahead and take care of that first before I worry about translation. I will come over to my teaser now, and I will say generate teaser for blog post. Now here again, it's going to prompt me and ask me, what is the starting point? What are we using as the reference content in order to generate this teaser? Now I'm going to choose select from current entry. I don't need to look for another entry within the CMS. I want this to be based on what I have in my existing entry already. For that, I'll choose my body, and it's going to ask me, which version are you looking at? Are you looking at English or German? I want this to go into my English, or to use the English variant to put in here. So it's going to generate an English teaser for me. We can see here quickly, created my teaser for me. Now, at this point, at least for my English translation, I've got my title, I've got an image. I'm going to keep the same image for English and German. I don't feel like I need a different image. I could choose a different image if I wanted to, but at least with the same image, I know I've already got the German translation for the alt text. So I feel like the image would be fine. I've got my teaser, I've got my English version of my body. So at this point, I just need to translate this. Now, with the other AI actions, what I've done is I've gone through and done things like individually. So I could create a translation. If I wanted to translate my title individually, I could come up here and choose translate, identify which locale I wanted to use, and that would populate my title. What I want to do is come over here and look at this from an entire entry perspective. I'm going to choose to translate my entry and set up German for each of these. Now what happens is the system is going to look at every text field and it goes down in order. It's gone pretty quickly. It will do my title, it will come down, do my teaser, and then if we can continue scrolling down, it is now working on the body. So it is working on building that translation of the body. Now, while that is working, I'm going to come down and just quickly put in a publish date, and I'm going to add an author to this blog article and come back up and give this a moment for it to go through. And there we go. I now have my German version. I am seeing that this went ahead and created a title in here because it's given it that heading 1. I don't want that, so I will eliminate that. Now at this point, if we scroll back up to the top, I've got my title, English and German. I've got my image with English and German alt text. I have my teaser in English and German. I have my body, my actual blog post in English and German. I think I'm good. I will go ahead and publish this. And with that, now, 2 ways I can check this. First thing I'm going to do, since I'm working in the Contentful UI, I'm actually going to go over to Experiences, which is essentially where the Studio UI happens. And I'm going to choose my articles page. This is where I have a component. We can see my article list component that allows me to essentially show all of my articles. I have some configuration options that I can put in here, such as what layout do I want, what do I want the default sort to be, which way I want my titles to show as. In this case, if I want to do an H4 instead of an H3, I could do, or keep them at H3. We put it at H4, save that real quick. Then we will see those have dropped down to that H4 size. But most importantly, I can see that my new blog post is showing up right here in my list. I will publish my change just because I changed my heading size. You can see that's updated. Now at this point, I'm going to toggle back to the actual front end, to my Power Tools portal, looking at it from the customer perspective, from that customer Emily perspective, and validate or verify that my new blog post is showing up there. So back over as Emily looking at this from the customer or the visitor perspective, I've not refreshed yet. I can see that I still have the old articles, the old blog articles showing there in the order. I don't see my new one. What I'm going to do just is navigate away quickly, go to my dashboard again, and then come back to my articles. And just by doing that, refresh that list essentially, and I can now see my new blog article. So just an example of using generative AI to create a blog article. Again, several other things that you can do with AI within Contentful. I hope this has given a good idea, a good example of just some of the power that's available.